Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Super Cool Radio. I'm your host, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. I got a great guest joining me at this time. Starting on April 4th, the Hangman will tour with the Oxys. Please welcome the vocalist and rhythm guitarist for the Hangman, Bryan Small.
I don't hear the claps.
I can edit that in post-production, don't worry.
Thanks for that introduction, Matthew. Wow.
Of course. I know we got quite a bit to discuss with the Hangman with the upcoming tour and everything, and I'm very happy to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, well, it's good to be here. Appreciate it.
So before we dive into the upcoming tour, I read that the Hangman toured Europe in support of Stories to Tell. So how was the tour?
Tour was fantastic. Best tour yet. That was our sixth time to Europe. And, each time over the past few times we've been there, it just gets better and better and better, So, yeah, it was really good. Lots of sing-alongs, lots of some good sold-out shows, crazy drives, fast food, European style, gas station baguettes and cheese, and whatever it takes to keep going. But it was really great. Yeah, loved it.
Oh, right on. I'm really happy to hear the experience was overall fantastic for you guys. So I'm curious, is there a difference between like performing in the U.S. and touring compared to Europe?
For us, there is, for sure. Yeah, we've got a lot more, there's more recognition there in most areas of Europe for us. So if we were to try and do a 5-week US tour, there would be some pretty tough spots in there where people would have no idea who we were, for whatever reason. I don't know why Europe is more in tune with rock and roll or with what we kind of do, So, and the fans are fans, they love music, and so yeah, they come out. It's cool.
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad to hear you guys got great support in Europe. It's always interesting to just like where bands get like where they get like their support, like groups of people who come out to shows and stuff. So I'm glad to hear Europe is a great spot for you guys.
It is a great spot, and there's a lot of my favorite bands were not bands that were loved worldwide. They were more underground type bands that found their niche in either New York, had to get out of LA, or bands that are just kind of big in the LA West Coast area and not so much on the East Coast. We would like to expand that, of course, but it's not unusual,
Oh, for sure. There's definitely a lot of bands, kind of vice versa, where they're, from America, but like over Europe, and that's where they gain their popularity, or like, from Europe and they come, as you say, like LA, New York, and cities like that, and that's where they gain popularity. So it's kind of vice versa. It's not always like where you're from is, what country you're from is where you're going to get your recognition and popularity from.
Yeah, that's true. So
for sure. Now, oh no, for sure. I'm glad to hear you guys got great support in Europe.
Yeah.
But I do want to talk about the upcoming tour, as I said, starting on April 4th, to be the Hangman and the Oxys touring. So for anyone who hasn't seen the Hangman live before, what can people expect?
Well, expect loud guitars, a real rock and roll band playing what they love. You know, that's what you'll get. A lot of we put a lot of ourselves into the show, and I hate to call it a show because it's not a show. It's us doing what we love to do, and so that's what you'll get. You know, that's not very elaborate, but it's pretty much what you see is what you get. Music, you know, or what you hear is what you get. And I think we do thrive in the live setting equally to I would hope the records, but you know, it's definitely more of a human, you know, experience, of course, you know. So
Oh, definitely. You know, obviously, live music, as you said, the human experience, and you know, it's just cool from some previous interviews, from watching you guys live, reading reviews, like some common thread I see is like you guys sound really great live, and you guys bring a lot of energy.
that's just the way it is. It's
For
not a
sure.
plan. We don't have a you know, anything choreographed. We just play our songs and deliver them the way we think they should be, you know.
Oh no, for sure. So I'm curious for you guys. So like when you do like a tour and stuff, do you have like a set list, or do you like change it up like from show to show?
We tend to, if we're doing headlining stuff and longer European shows, we switch songs in and out, but mainly the framework of the set list we kind of keep, because if it works, it's kind of like a song into itself. You know, there's a beginning, a middle, an end, and different things happening in between, you know. So if it doesn't work, it's a bad song, you know. So the experience is not, it doesn't take you on the ride that I would like to go on if I'm seeing a band, you know. So
Yeah, for sure. And I never really thought about that. Like a set list is like a song in and of itself. I never really thought about it like that, but it makes very much sense, as you explained it.
well, thanks. Sometimes I have some something to say.
So I'm curious for you. Do you have a favorite song to perform live?
Of ours,
Hangman original, yes.
yeah. Well, we've brought a couple back that we'll probably be doing on this tour. A song called "Homesick Blues" is one that we brought back in Europe, and we haven't done it in a long, long time. And God, that was fun. That was so much fun to do. And same with "Broken Heartland" is right up there with it, as far as that, the energy and the rawness of it, you know. And then if we slow things down, "It's Over for You" off our very first record is always great, and "Bent." You know, I love playing those songs too. So yeah, that's the fast and the slow of it right now.
Oh, right. And what I really like listening to the Hangman is like you guys can like really rock, and it got some more fast paced songs, but then you guys can really slow it down. And for both styles, faster, slower songs, you guys capture emotion very well.
Well, thanks. That's maybe not the intention, but if it came out like that, then great, you know.
So for you guys, so before I move off from the tour, I did just want to, I'm curious for you guys, have you performed with the Oxys before? This will be the first time touring with them?
No. Nope. Looking forward to it though. Should be fun. Should be a good collaboration of bands that really love what they do, you know. So, and I can tell that from what I've seen from them that they mean it, which is everything.
Oh no, definitely, for sure. I've had Jason from the Oxys on the show, and yeah, he's obviously very passionate about music, and I dig both, you know, the Hangman and the Oxys, so I think it's a great combination and a great tour package.
Yeah, I think we're both lucky to have each other on this. So,
oh, for sure, for sure. So, I'm curious for you. This last touring question I do have for you, because I'm curious. You've been touring, you know, many years, performed, you know, many shows. So, it has been like some of the, like, what have been like the coolest or most unique venues you have performed at?
The venues in Europe are definitely the most unique. You know, rundown. It ranges from a rundown castle type setting on the top of a hill somewhere in Spain to I think the first show we did in Paris was, you know, everything seems to be stairs, lots of stairs in Europe, you know, and it was down these stairs in the basement of a cafe type setting. And it was so funny because they wanted a rock and roll show there. But they had a limiter on the PA to how loud you can be. So our drummer hit a snare and the whole PA turned off just from one little hit. And he wasn't even hitting hard at all. So it was a somewhat acoustic show that we had to play, you know, because they had limiters there. In this one particular club, I remember that being so strange and so not rock and roll, but we persevered. But yeah, some very, very cool oddball places in Europe. You never really quite know where you're going to be, you know, so that's pretty cool.
Well, no, for sure. From, you know, I've not had the opportunity to travel to Europe, but, you know, from interviewing people and talking with people, you know, they seem to always like repurpose things. They used to like castles, churches, and things like that, where they keep the, you know, the old, you know, the older exterior, but then they kind of, you know, transform it, you know, the inside of it. I think that's just very cool to preserve that kind of cool architecture on the outside.
Yeah, this last tour we played on a boat, which was an old junket boat, Asian junket boat, you know, and that was in Paris on the river. And so we go from that to a 1,000-year-old castle, you know, or a 1,000-year-old church. And we're playing on where the sermon would have taken place, you know, and it was just a beautiful church, you know. So yeah, very interesting and cool and fun.
Oh no, for sure. It definitely sounds like that, and I'm glad you guys have had those great opportunities to perform in those. Very cool, you know, a boat. You know, so it was actually like on the water, like actually, like so, like was it like? Could you feel it moving when you're like performing? You really?
Yeah. You had to get your sea legs, you know, during sound check because you're going like, you know, it wouldn't rock very much, but it's enough to just like mess with your head, you know, like what's going on? It's just yeah, it was on, and then you go, oh, we're on a boat on water. So
Oh, dude, that is cool. So so for you, like, did you have like, were you able to adapt to you know, performing on a boat?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it just took a little while, you know. So when you're getting there and you're sound checking and stuff, that's when you really notice it. But then after a while, you just acclimate to it, and it's not a lot, but is enough to just mess with your head for a little bit.
Oh, that is cool though, and it sounds like a awesome and just fun experience to have.
Yeah, for sure.
So I do got a few more things I did want to cover before we wrap up this interview. So I'm always curious from many of the guests that I interview, like, so for you, do you like what music do you listen to throughout the week? Do you like go to some of your like your favorites, or do you check out new bands? Like, what music do you listen to, Bryan?
I don't really listen to much music, to be honest with you. As a musician, I've always kind of been like that. I've had the stuff that filters in through other people, friends or family, and then I go, oh, what's this or what's that? And then I find out about something, but I don't actually, I think there's a few weirdos like me that don't really like constantly listen to music and seek out new music and, but when I do hear something cool, I just jump in with both ears, and, but, I always go back to what made me want to write songs to begin with, and that's kind of the classic, Tom Petty, Ramones, Bob Dylan, all that, Gun Club, X, all that stuff mixed together. That's kind of what I like, and that's what I consider rock and roll, including the Cramps and so that's the stuff I truly love, and I've continue to listen to throughout the years, and be inspired by it.
All right, no, yeah, it's interesting. I've had a few people kind of say, similar, that they don't really listen to too much music, and I think that's, I'm a music lover. I listen to a lot of music, but it's also cool to respect the other side of that too. And like, so I'm curious for you. So like if you're listening to music while like during your songwriting process, like obviously you don't listen to too much, but like, do you think it would taint like your songwriting process?
That's kind of one of the reasons why I don't I don't want to be influenced by much. And that's why I didn't learn the names of the strings on the guitar or what chords I'm playing, because just for me, I wanted it to be is from the gut as could be, I don't want to know too much, I just don't.
Yeah.
So take that for what it is. That's just the way I do it.
All right, and I respect that. I like that. Because you're staying true to like just the music that you want to record, and it's true and authentic to yourself that you're the one creating the music. So I like that.
Well, thanks.
So I got just a few more things before we close out this interview. So we're talking about obviously at the upcoming tour starting in April, and so like, what is like the rest of 2024 looking like for the Hangmen?
Well, that's interesting, because we're my drummer and I were just talking yesterday about what are we going to do the rest of the year. We've got a couple plans, but we don't know what's going to happen. We will be touring towards the end of the year again, but I don't know if it's going to be in Europe or hopefully the UK or maybe some more US dates. And also revisiting a live record that we did in 2002 and potentially adding more tracks to that and putting that out. So
right on. Sounds like you got some good things in the works. So I'm just curious real quick, if you can give any details, like the 2002 live album. So is that obviously recorded live, just has not been released yet.
It was released, and but we found about 6 tracks that we didn't really know that we had, that we performed live and recorded. And so we're taking a look at those and maybe expanding the live record and doing a reissue with these other songs on it. So
right on. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I've been digging you guys' music, so I definitely look forward to hearing more new music or the live album reissue.
Yeah, the live album you can get. It's called "We've Got Blood on the Toes of Our Boots," and that came out in 2002. And that had the whole first record we did for Capitol, which we weren't happy with the way it was mixed. So to set the sonic record straight, we did a live album to show people that this is what the Hangmen sound like, you know. So
nice.
Yeah,
I'm definitely going to check it out, give that a listen.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Oh, I think so, for sure. So now that we're closing out this interview, so for everyone watching and listening, like, where are the best places to find the Hangman online?
Oh, on all the usual suspects, the Spotify's and the Apple Musics and stuff like that, and you know, and we've got our website, and you know, all the stuff that you normally would find a band on, we're there too. So yeah.
Right, I will leave some links for the Hangman in the description of this podcast as well. Please check out and support them. If they're coming through an area near you in April, please see them live. Bryan, thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio. I had a great time chatting with you.
Where are you, by the way?
I'm based in the Midwest, South Bend, Indiana.
Oh shit! Well, we're not going to be there.
No, unfortunately. Hopefully I could maybe either fly out sometime or catch you guys hopefully when you tour again. But okay, I do want to see you guys live.
Great. All right. Good talking to you. Have a great day, man.
Thank you, you too. For Bryan of the Hangman, I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching or listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.